TV. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So, woke up this morning with a lot going on. Morgan Stanley has appointed Amy Oldenburg to lead its crypto unit, which is a big deal because I just don't feel that, I just don't feel that Morgan Stanley was really putting true effort into the crypto side of the business and trying to actually make some true headway in that. And by appointing somebody to be dedicated to that space, I'm sorry, but it was a slow start. I get up early, but sometimes I still fall behind. So I apologize that you have to see me like put on, all this stuff. I had somebody come at me once. We don't need to see you getting ready in the morning. And I'm like, you get up every morning and you do this. Just saying. And then somebody else came at me, I think just last week, and they were like, why would I listen to a guy who can't even iron his shirt? And I'm like, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning when I get up to start doing research, and I take my morning shower and all that good stuff. And I have to tell you, sometimes I'm just, I'm tired. So, I didn't iron my stuff the night before because by the time I'm done with that show and finish doing the work that I actually have to get done, I'm done. I'm toast. I crawl into bed. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a maid here that will get up and iron my clothes and do all that stuff. So sometimes, I'm looking a little bit messy. I try not to. I really try not to, because my mother will laugh at me. She watches every single show, and she will absolutely crack jokes and all that stuff. And her cracking jokes is her telling me, hey, boy. So it's more important for me to put the lotion on than it is for me to be worried about some kind of, wrinkly shirt or anything else like that. Because, can't be black and have ashy skin. That's a no-no in my family. But Morgan Stanley appointing somebody to lead their crypto unit is a very big deal, because I think that crypto at Morgan Stanley has been I think at most financial institutions, I don't want to single out Morgan Stanley, I think at most financial institutions, their crypto game has been a bit weak. I'm putting it out there. I think the crypto game has been a bit weak. MasterCard tried to buy Zero Hash. Zero Hash has a deal with SoFi and Morgan Stanley. They put in a combined $150 million into that business. So, that was one good thing. But why did Morgan Stanley do that? Well, they did that because they couldn't handle things internally. So they need external help. Not a bad thing. I think it's great to admit that, hey, I need some help with this. I think that's actually great. But they had been moving slow for a long time. They thought they had, crypto, in the bag, it's going to be easy. They'll just knock it out, blah, blah, blah. It's not easy. It's not. It really is not. And so I look at that. I look at these moves and I'm like, oh, they're starting to take things a bit seriously. You want to know why they're going to have to take things a bit seriously? I've been talking about this for a long time, a very long time. Fintechs are taking it to the banks in major fashion. You want to know the latest? PayPal says that 40% of their merchants already accept crypto. Let that explode right now. Let that, go in your head. PayPal says that 40% of their merchants now accept crypto. And it's not just that they have it installed and they can accept crypto. No, they do accept crypto. Because if you have PayPal, you already have the ability to accept crypto. But actually accepting crypto is a different story. Well, holy moly. Now we have retail, true retail, stepping up. If that's not good news, I don't know what is. And let me tell you something. Right now, people are talking about, the decrease in the dollar value, all that good stuff. This is good for the country, maybe very short term. A weaker dollar is good. Maybe in the very short term. It happened in the regime's first term. It's happening in the regime's second term. But after a year, you don't really want a weak dollar. I mean, we've got about, $39 trillion in debt? The idea that you're going to decrease debt by manipulating the value of the dollar or interest rates or whatever, no. You must pay down your freaking debt. And I'm not hearing people talk about that. I'm not hearing people come up with an idea about how to decrease debt. I'm not hearing about deals that will help us decrease debt. I'm not hearing about any of that. I don't know about you, but I find that to be a bit of a problem. Just a little one. Just a little one. And I think that's something that we need to pay attention to as we move forward, right? $39 trillion in debt. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Why? Because you're gonna have to invest in order to survive. You're going to have to invest in order to survive, and your first investment is you. We're not going to be able to depend on anybody else to manage our value. We must manage our value. It's not enough. It's not enough. Good morning, sir. Rick Ritchie in his house, and thank you for letting us know that you have invested in yourself today. That's what I'm talking about. I can always depend on Rick Ritchie to be doing that. He's always about increasing his knowledge. I love that about that man. But I'm just looking at, what we have to do going forward. We've got a lot of issues. We've got 30% of U.S. merchants accepting cryptocurrency via PayPal, or 39%, basically 40%, was like 39 point something percent. Ethereum's ERC-8004 AI protocol is supposed to be deployed on the mainnet tomorrow. That's huge. That's agent-to-agent communication. I'm telling you, people are sleeping on Ethereum, and Ethereum's just plugging along, doing its thing. Plugging along, doing its thing. Ethereum is a part of the connective tissue. I'm just saying, I will always invest in Ethereum. The same way I'll always invest in Bitcoin and a few other coins out there. But I like the fact that every time I turn around, they're doing something to better the blockchain. That's the big deal. That's what catches me. Remember what I told you guys, I'm constantly looking for use cases. If a coin doesn't have a strong enough use case, and it doesn't matter that there are other projects in that space that are doing something. Maybe they're coming along with better technology or something like that. Got to pay attention to that. I need to see use cases. I need to see value in what you do. Because let me tell you, when the great culling and the great, consolidation comes in the crypto space, only a few are going to survive. And there are millions of coins out there. Some memes, some NFT, just some garbage. But then you have those pearls that actually do something. And then you have buckets of pearls. Different kinds of pearls sitting in different buckets doing different things. That's what I find to be important. Those are the things that I find to be important. Bitwise registered a Delaware trust for a Uniswap ETF. Coinbase tested, what is it? Ellip caches? What? Some of these names are the dumbest ever. Ellip Cash? Somebody thought that was a good name. Ellip Cash. Yes, I'm picking on you. Yes, I am. If I can't say it well, say it easily, Google, Yahoo, Bing. Those are easy names to say. Ellip Cash. I sound like an idiot when I say it. Ellip Cash is USDF stablecoin on its back end, part of a 2026 launch with $247 million in Q4 2025 stablecoin revenue, as the market is projected to grow to $2 trillion by 2028. Yeah. Banks are screaming at the top of their lungs because of stablecoins. Just saying, pay attention. I'm sitting here and I'm just looking at it and I'm just saying to myself, yeah, again, banks need to step up. PayPal with 39 point something percent of their, basically 40% of their merchants accepting crypto. Morgan Stanley appointing a new head to lead their crypto team. Just saying, if you need a product owner, give me a call, guys. I can probably help out with that. There's a lot more going on. 80% of UK crypto exchanges face banking restrictions, with 40% of transactions delayed or blocked. Top of the morning, KG. Don't forget to invest in yourself. So, also, in addition to that study, there was another study. Imagine a lot of your transactions that are going toward crypto platforms being delayed. Why is that? You're supposed to transfer money within 24 hours as in the United States. Why are you delaying, huh? Don't want that money to leave your bank? Is that why, huh? Just saying. There are a lot of things that we need to pay attention to, and that's just one of them. And it's not just happening in the United States, it's happening in the UK. Banks have to figure out what the hell they bring to the table, what kind of value they offer to their people. And if they're not offering enough value and those people can find value someplace else, they will go someplace else. Don't hamper me. Step up your game. That's the message. That's the message. Don't hamper your customers. Step up your game. Make it worthwhile for them to have their money in your bank. But if all you're giving them is dirt in terms of interest rates, and they can get more out of crypto, expect them to go to crypto. You can't be that dumb. This is really easy math, people. Really easy math. You're going to have to start sharing the money that you make from using other people's money to generate money. And this goes for centralized exchanges as well. All those people that are keeping their value on those centralized exchanges, and then those centralized exchanges going off and making money off of that, you're going to have to start sharing some of that. Because what's going on now? What's the newest push now? The newest push now is screw you. We don't need you. We can do this ourselves. Bring value to the table. If you can't bring value to the table, I'm telling you, you're going to have a hard time. I call it the great culling and the great consolidation. I'm telling you, it is coming and it's going to be painful if you don't step up your game. Because to me, I have to tell you, I've been saying this for a long time. Centralized exchanges to me are just like banks. They're no different. They're interchangeable almost in terms of what they do. That's how I look at them. So do I want to keep my money on a centralized exchange? No. And I don't keep my value on a centralized exchange no matter what they do. There are 50 million other places where I can place my value, make money off my value, do what I got to do. An exchange is not one of them. Because if an exchange gets hit, if they go out of business or whatever happens, on a very busy day, I just can't access my value to do a transaction. Yeah, nah, son, I don't have time for that. Stop playing games. I do not have time for that. So yeah, no, I do not take those kinds of chances. I might use a centralized exchange to handle whatever transaction I want to handle, and then it goes back to a non-custodial wallet. Straight up. Straight up. Just saying. Just putting that out there for you so you understand where I sit. Coinbase's stock fell 1.24% to a 2026 low, despite expanding into copper and platinum futures, with a 10% year-to-date drop and a 46% decline from July. July was their 2025 peak. I'm not worried about Coinbase. From a stock perspective, from a value perspective, I'm not worried about Coinbase. Coinbase is going to be fine. I'm not a fan of Brian Armstrong, but the company's going to be fine. Everything has peaks and valleys. Everything has peaks and valleys. All that tells me is, hey, I should do some research because maybe now is a good time to, buy some Coinbase stock. That's all that tells me. I constantly do my own research, know my entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. What other news do we have on the day? Chinese language money laundering networks handle 20% of global illicit crypto flows, rising from 10 billion in 2020 to 82 billion in 2025, using informal methods to outpace centralized exchanges. Shocker there. I don't know about you, but I am shocked. Flabbergasted even. Aghast. Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way, whether it be with fiat or crypto or shells, you know what I mean? Or gold or silver or whatever it is. I'm just saying, people are going to find a way. Nefarious people are going to find a way to move value. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's a game. We make a change, they adjust to the change. It's an ongoing battle. It really is. Gold hit a record $5,279 as the U.S. dollar index fell to a 4-year lows, with Goldman Sachs citing 15% overvaluation and emphasizing the dollar's continued reserve currency dominance for now. For now, remember, there are a lot of countries out there that do not want to use the dollar as their reserve currency, and they're looking at ways to get away from it. And here's the other part. Crypto is quickly stepping up and becoming a choice. Digital assets are stepping up and quickly becoming a choice. Think about that. ASML reports their earnings this week. I think their earnings call happens at either 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., something like that. Should probably pay attention. ASML, in terms of chips, is a very big deal. Speaking of chips, China has now said that their companies are now allowed to go buy NVIDIA's H200 chips. Thousands, like crazy numbers. And here's something else that I'm waiting for more people to talk about, which is the idea that, well, don't know why RAM prices are so high, since these people have RAM literally sitting in warehouses. And the last time this happened, guess what? They got taken to court. Some people served jail time. They had to pay fines. And they're doing it all over again. Increasing the price of RAM, even though they have RAM sitting there ready to go. They're just not putting it on the market. Can't trust some of these companies. Cannot trust some of these companies. SpaceX plans their $50 billion IPO. It's planned for mid-June of this year. It's going to be huge. Here's something I'm telling people that they should be paying attention to. Pay attention to the pin plays off of that IPO. What else does SpaceX need in order to be successful? What components do they require to be successful? I'd be getting into those components. I would truly be getting into those components. Anthropic secured $20 billion at a $350 billion valuation, right? That's a big deal. But that valuation might go up because Microsoft and a couple other investors might, like Google, might also be able to increase their investment in there. Masa-san sold NVIDIA, which he didn't want to do a while ago, to get into OpenAI, and now he's looking to raise another $30 billion for OpenAI. I think that was a huge mistake selling NVIDIA for OpenAI. I think that wanting to invest billions more in OpenAI is another freaking problem. I didn't realize this, but OpenAI, when it first came out with ChatGPT, had said there will never be any ads, and here we are talking about them adding ads. There are these things, they're called acts of desperation. How do you not see that as an act of desperation? The walls are closing in, I think. The walls are closing in. But you know what we should do? That's right, we should go over the numbers. Let me get this out of the way, get my notes out of the way. Dow futures implied open 20 points up. S&P futures implied open 25.75 points up. NASDAQ futures implied open 244 points up. So that means Dow and S&P relatively flat, relatively unchanged. NASDAQ on fire. Tech stocks are coming in and saying, hey, we're doing well. We expect it to go well for a while. Right now, that's where everybody's FOMOing into. Oil down 0.03, US 10-year up 0.026. Company earnings calls, like I said, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, ASML. I want to listen to the ASML call. I'm not a shareholder, so I'm listening to the reports out of that call. There was another one. AT&T is another one I want to hear about. So there are a few. Starbucks is coming out with something. Notice how they always talk about the big names. ServiceNow is another company I want to talk about. I want you to think about this. ServiceNow is basically, it's a great company for, watching tickets and workflow and all that good stuff. Workflow is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and I'm not seeing these larger companies get any cheaper. Just saying, paying attention to opportunities. Today, like I said, we have the FOMC meeting. Nobody's expecting any kind of movement. So any kind of movement out of that would be amazeballs. Amazeballs. But everybody's betting on no movement right now. People are betting on Powell's not going to make any moves until no moves will come out of the Fed until Powell's term is over as chairman. That'll happen in May. So what, June is when people are expecting the first movement. If the numbers show up, the numbers show up and that you can make a move. Right now, the numbers don't even back up lowering the rates right now. They really don't. It's amazing. Fear and Greed Index is at 29, which is a step from yesterday. DeFi Llama, we're looking at $121.581 billion in total value locked. Again, we're still below my low of 125. Got to be above 125. For me to feel like it's a healthy market, got to be above 125. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's fighting to get back over 90. We've been consolidating right here. You can see it. We've been consolidating. And now we're trying to get back to 90 for Bitcoin. Interesting. We'll see what happens. All right. Look at these. Hype is still on fire. Hype is still on fire. Yes, I have a bag of hype. Just saying. Just saying. But you have a lot of opportunities here. I think that you have a lot of opportunities because everybody's still low. I mean, XRP is still under $2. I'm shocked that Ethereum's over 3,000. But, you know, BTC moves, ETH is most likely going to move. And ETH has a lot on, you know, in the news that's positive in terms of what they're doing. Cardano still under 40 cents. Let's go over here. Look at the big board. There you go. See, look at that. You see how quickly Ethereum catches up? So I was speaking with Elliot yesterday, and we were talking about how, you know, Bitcoin's fighting to get back. Bitcoin really doesn't want to go any lower than what it is. It's really fighting to go up. Great, got it. But I'm paying attention to altcoins because I can increase my value faster with altcoins than I can with Bitcoin. And there's the perfect example. Just a little while ago, Bitcoin was 2 points higher than Ethereum from if you're looking at year-to-date numbers. Now they're basically neck and neck. Ethereum picked up quick. So do other coins. They pick up quick. Just saying, pay attention to these things. They're really, really big. XRP is coming along. BNB. Never sleep on BNB. I don't know why people do. It's a part of the connective tissue as well. Never sleep on BNB. BNB, XRP, Solana, if you're into that kind of thing. You sold Cardano? I'm shocked. Good morning, though. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. I'm not selling Cardano anytime soon. I'm not selling Cardano anytime soon. Close to chest, the same way I'm holding my XRP close to chest. Doge is another one that I like. Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is at number 12, telling you it keeps hiking. Monero is at number 13, keeps hiking. Pay attention. Look at Hyperliquid's year-to-date number, 33, almost 34% up. Monero, 11.12 up, 10, you know, basically around 11, which is where it just changed. Stellar is another one that I like. I have a tiny bag of Stellar. Just saying, pay attention to these things. In the past, BTC followed gold. If gold goes up, BTC goes down, and vice versa. And the same with the VIX. Yep, very true. But gold has been rocketing up. So the liquidity has been flying into gold, not necessarily into crypto. Why? Gold is tangible. I can hold gold. Bitcoin? People said, that's why I'm not getting into Bitcoin. That's why I'm not getting into digital assets. When was the last time you touched a dollar bill? How often is it that you actually touch fiat? Same thing. And your fiat is based off of a promise. It's not even based on gold. It's based off of a promise now. Let that one sink in. Hurts, doesn't it? It hurts. I know it hurts. Why do I have myself up? Oh, no, it's behind. Wow. It's way behind. I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm just monitoring things. But yeah, that's why. Gold is tangible. And pretty soon, you know what's going to wind up happening? It'll ease. And liquidity will come back into Bitcoin. You want to know what institutions are doing right now? They're buying digital assets all over the place. Just saying, pay attention to these things. Pay attention to these things. Come on, let's go. Chop, chop. We don't have all day for this. All right, so let's look at the losers. let's see, we have to go all the way down to here to get the last loser. Axie Infinity is down 7.38% with a GMB X factor of 68 on the dot. Haven't seen that in a long time. Okay, other than that, these guys are moving sideways. Let's get to the winners. Let's look at the winner's side. Pippin is up 56.84% with a GMB X factor of 0.13. I have no idea what Pippin is, and I'm not touching it because I haven't done the research yet. Hyperliquid is up 22.83% with a GMB X factor of 0.74. Jupiter is up 17.26% with a GMB X factor of 7.85. Let's see, who else do I like? Not like or interested in. Radium is up 10.15% with a GMB X factor of 14.80. Do I think Radium is going to come anytime close or close at any time to their all-time high? No time soon. Pith Network is up 10.04%. GMB X factor of 17.6. Let me tell you something. Pith has always been talked about as being the second largest oracle. It's way off its high. That GMB X factor is troubling. Supposedly great tech. I haven't used it yet, but they're widely known, widely respected oracle. I'm just pointing out the fact that their GMB X factor is 17.6. Just saying. Fartcoin is up 8.97, GMB X factor of 6.94. Quant, one of those ISO kind of coins, up 8.42% with GMB X factor of 4.38. Pudgy Penguin's been talking about them for a while. Pudgy Penguins and Pengu, 8.38% up, GMB X factor 5.64. Render is up 8.19, GMB X factor 5.87. Pendle, something else one of my friends is talking about, is up 7.85% with a GMB X factor of 2.69. Let's see. Aerodrome Finance up 6.51, 3.93. Virtuals Protocol 6.14% up with a GMB X factor of exactly 5. Wow. Aster is up 6% with a GMB X factor of 2.49. Yes, I do hold a bag of Aster. I think Aster is going to be on its come up. GMB X factor for Trust Wallet is 2.06 as it rises 5.95%. So this whole list of 25 of the top 250 coins is positive and above my hold of 5%. I have my rule, and that's what I stick to. Just saying. So there's a lot going on. I'm expecting a lot of news to come out today. A lot of news. Some of it will be boring, like the FOMC meeting. I don't care about the FOMC rate decision. I care about what Powell says during the meeting. That's what I'm going to be keying in on. Rick Ritchie says, I always look at the losers first because that's where the money is made or the opportunity to make money. Yep, you notice I always start with the losers. I always start with the losers too because I want to see, is there an opportunity here? Is there an opportunity? So when you look at the losers, go all the way down to the bottom and you're kind of, actually, let me just fix this real quick. So you go all the way down to the bottom, and is there anybody here that I would want to do research on that I might be able to make money on? USDY? No. Maybe, but nah. I haven't done enough research on it. Dash for privacy could do something. Decentraland, maybe, but that's taking big like gamble right there. There's nobody on the list at the bottom, in the bottom 25. But Decentraland, Sandbox makes you stop and wonder, hey, could there be Axie Infinity, another one? There are a couple here that I would do some research on to see if I can make some money out of the bottom 25 of the top 250 coins. Because that's what this list is. My winners and losers are the bottom. I take the top 250 coins, and I take the top 25 and the bottom 25 and analyze those, and everybody else is kind of in between, right? Just saying. So everybody's kind of like right here is the last 5% one. Just saying. So you have everybody that's bouncing between negative 5%, positive 5%. They're all right there, just kind of moving laterally. I pay attention to you when you have combined upwards of below 5%. All right, that's it. We have more coming tonight. Like I said, I'm expecting a lot of news to hit but not anything from the FOMC except for Powell's conference. Pay attention to what that man has to say. Pay attention to what that man has to say. I will be back for the overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll discuss all of that and more at that time. This is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Thank you for tuning in. And if you like what I do me a favor, smash the likes. It definitely helps with the algorithm. And if you can, go over to GrowMyBag.tv and become a member. It's only $1 a month. I'm pretty sure you guys can handle that, and you get a lot more for that simple amount of money. All right. Also, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. Everybody have a great day. See you tonight. Have a good one. Bye-bye.